warning signal, the night sky was quiet, calm, and endless. Scientists at the Global Observatory stared at the blinking screens, noticing strange signals coming from the far edges of the galaxy. At first, it looked like normal cosmic noise. But soon the pattern became clear. It was a message. Not in any language humans had ever seen, but in precise mathematical pulses that seemed almost alive. Dr. Lena Hart, the lead astrophysicist, felt a chill run down her spine. She ran her fingers over the console, trying to decipher the code. Her team worked frantically, translating, analyzing, and comparing it to everything in human knowledge. The message repeated itself over and over, an ominous rhythm that seemed to whisper a single command: Earth must kneel. Across the world, governments received similar signals. Military alarms were triggered, and emergency meetings were held in secret rooms. President Morgan stared at the live feed from orbiting satellites. His voice was steady but tense as he addressed the council. We do not know who sent this or why, but humanity is being warned. We must prepare, not panic. Meanwhile, ordinary people noticed strange phenomena in the sky. Stars flickered and shimmered as if trembling. Strange shadows passed over the moon, and satellites reported unusual electromagnetic pulses. Some called it a natural event, others whispered of alien forces. Panic began to grow in quiet murmurs, spreading from city to city. Village to village, in a remote hangar, Captain Yorick Vale examined the new fleet of human spacecraft. His team had trained for years, but nothing in their drills prepared them for this. If the message is a threat, he said, his voice low, then we are the first line of defense. He looked at the young pilots around him. Eyes full of fear and determination, they had signed up to protect Earth. But the scale of the unknown filled them with doubt. Yet, in that doubt, a spark of courage burned. Suddenly, the observatory screens flashed red. The signal changed, becoming sharper, faster, almost angry. Dr. Hart gasped as the code shifted into a pattern that resembled a star map. The map showed thousands of ships moving in formation, heading directly toward the solar system. The galactic overlords were coming, and they were vast, unstoppable, and deadly. News channels picked up the story, trying to calm the public. But no words could hide the fear in people's eyes. Families gathered in living rooms staring at the sky. Children clutched their parents' hands, and even hardened soldiers felt a shiver of dread. The world had never faced an enemy like this. Something that was not human. Something from beyond the stars in the quiet of a hidden lab. Dr. Hart and her assistant Raj worked tirelessly to understand the alien language. Every pattern, every pulse seemed to carry intent. A command from an intelligence far beyond human comprehension, Raj whispered. It's like they are speaking directly to our minds. Dr. Hart nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. We have to warn the people, but we must also find a way to survive. As the hours passed, more and more satellites reported alien activity. Tiny probes had already entered the outer atmosphere. Scanning, measuring, observing, humanity could feel the presence of the Armada. Not with weapons, but with knowledge. They were being studied, catalogued, and judged. Captain Vale received the first real report from his pilots. Unidentified ships detected beyond Jupiter, the radio crackled. They are enormous. Larger than anything we imagined. His eyes narrowed and his jaw tightened. He knew the coming days would test every human skill. Courage and hope. They would need unity, strength, and a willingness to fight against impossible odds. As night fell, Earth's cities were lit not by streetlights, but by the glow of the stars, shimmering, flickering, and warning. Humanity waited, held its breath, and watched the sky. The message was clear, terrifying, and undeniable. Galactic overlords commanded Earth to kneel. But humans did not bow easily, and deep inside, a seed of defiance was already growing. The warning signal repeated once more, echoing through the cosmos. A haunting rhythm that promised chaos, destruction, and trials beyond imagining. Yet, somewhere in the minds of scientists, soldiers, and ordinary people, hope burned quietly. The story of humanity's resistance was about to begin. And thus, the calm before the storm ended. The night sky was never quiet again. The arrival of the Armada, the sky over Earth darkened slowly. A deep shadow stretching across continents. Satellites and telescopes captured shapes moving against the stars. Enormous vessels that dwarfed even the largest human ships, they shimmered with strange lights. Not the warm glow of human engines, but cold, metallic glints that seemed almost alive. Captain Yarick Vale stood on the deck of the command ship Aurora, his eyes scanning the horizon. "They're here," he said quietly, the weight of the words pressing down on him. Pilots around him gripped their controls tightly. Hearts pounding, they had trained for threats and simulations. But nothing had prepared them for this. The first wave of the galactic overlord's armada entered the solar system. Moving in perfect formation, thousands of ships aligned like stars on a grid. Each ship was a fortress, bristling with unknown weapons. The sheer scale of the fleet made Earth's defenses look tiny. Fragile, almost meaningless, Dr. Lena Hart watched the live feeds from the observatory. Her mind racing. "They are not just visiting," she whispered. "They are here to dominate." Governments scrambled their military fleets, missile silos, and space stations. But even the largest human ships looked like paper boats next to the alien vessels. Across the globe, ordinary people felt the changes in the sky. The stars flickered unnaturally, night turned darker, and strange noises vibrated through the atmosphere. Panic spread, yet some watched with awe. Mesmerized by the beauty and terror of the Armada, news channels flashed images of the ships. And the message became clear: Earth had no choice but to obey. Captain Vale called his pilots to action. "We are humanity's first line," he said, voice steady but firm. "We fight, or we accept submission." They launched into orbit, dodging energy pulses and strange alien beams. Their small craft weaved between enormous ships. Every movement a test of skill and courage. The first battle began silently, lasers flashing against the night sky. Meanwhile, Dr. Hart continued decoding the alien signal. Trying to understand their intentions, she noticed a pattern in their movements. Almost like a dance, each ship seemed to follow invisible rules, as if connected by a single mind. "They think together," Raj said, awe in his voice. "It's like they are one." Dr. Hart nodded, realizing the scale of the threat. On Earth, city streets became chaotic, alarms blaring, emergency broadcasts repeating warnings, families huddled in basements and shelters. Soldiers stood on rooftops watching the sky and praying. The world had never faced anything like this. And yet humans moved forward, determined not to cower. Captain Vale's squadron engaged a group of smaller alien ships, dodging beams and explosions. Every maneuver required focus, trust, and courage. Pilots communicated with short, sharp commands. Their voices tense, yet calm. They managed to hit one of the smaller vessels, causing a small explosion. The victory was tiny, but it gave hope. Dr. Hart's eyes widened as the alien ships began transmitting new signals, pulses of light forming complex patterns in space. It was a warning, a message, a threat, and a test all at once. "They know we are fighting," she said, shivering. "And they are not happy." Governments debated retaliation, but the human fleets were far too small. The world realized that brute force alone would not save them. Night turned to day, and the Armada's shadow moved across the planet. Humanity felt small beneath it, Yet everywhere, people prepared. Built and resisted, scientists, soldiers, and civilians all found ways to contribute. Every action, every decision mattered. The first clash of the Armada had begun. And Earth's response would shape the future. Captain Vale looked at the stars, his heart heavy but unbroken. "We may be tiny," he said, "but we will not kneel without a fight." The Armada loomed larger, and the stakes grew higher. Humanity had entered a new era, one of fear, courage, and defiance. The warning signal continued to pulse across the planet. But now humans knew what it meant. They were not just warned, they were challenged. And humanity was ready to answer. The sky burned with alien fire, and the first sparks of resistance had begun. The secret weapon days had passed since the Armada entered the solar system, and humanity had barely scratched the surface of its defenses. Captain Yarick Vale and his pilots had fought bravely, but the alien fleet was relentless. Ships larger than cities moved in perfect formation, scanning, probing, and striking with precision. Yet, even in the darkness, a glimmer of hope emerged. Dr. Lena Hart had spent sleepless nights analyzing the alien signals. Patterns she had ignored before suddenly made sense. Hidden within the pulses was a clue, a map pointing to something buried deep beneath the Earth's surface. Something ancient, something powerful, something that could give humanity a chance. "Raj, look at this," she said, pointing to the glowing diagram on her screen. "This isn't just a message, it's a guide." Raj leaned closer, eyes wide. "Guide to what?" Dr. Hart paused, the weight of her words heavy. "To a weapon. A secret weapon." Meanwhile, Captain Vale received an urgent message from Earth Command. "We have located the site," the voice crackled. "It may be humanity's only hope against the Armada." Vale's jaw tightened. "Then we move immediately." His squadron prepared for a dangerous mission. Leaving the safety of orbit and heading toward an uncharted region of the planet. The site was hidden in the mountains, a place forgotten by time. Ancient structures rose from the earth, covered in symbols no one could read. As Vale's team approached, strange energy rippled through the air, the ground vibrated as if alive, and a low hum echoed from the walls inside. Dr. Hart and her team discovered a massive machine. Unlike anything humans had built, lights pulsed along its surface. Reacting to their presence, Raj whispered, "It's waiting." Hart nodded, feeling both fear and excitement. "We need to activate it." But carefully, activating the weapon was not simple. Panels and levers responded to thought and movement, almost like it could sense their intentions. Every wrong action caused sparks to fly, alarms to ring, yet they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that failure meant the end of humanity. Outside, the Armada moved closer, scanning Earth's surface for resistance. Shadows of enormous ships fell across the mountains, sending waves of fear through the human forces. Captain Vale and his squadron fought to protect the scientists. Dodging alien beams, every second counted, and every move was life or death. Finally, Dr. Hart's hands found the final control. She hesitated for a moment, then pressed it. A surge of light shot into the sky, energy spreading in all directions. The machine hummed with power, responding to humanity's will. It was not just a weapon, it was a promise. A challenge to the Armada on the battlefield. Alien ships shuddered as the energy reached them. Some faltered, their movements slowing, others changed course. Seemingly confused by the strange power, Captain Vale smiled grimly. "We have something they did not expect." He knew it was only the beginning. But humanity had gained an advantage as the light faded. Dr. Hart watched the horizon. "This weapon. It can turn the tide," she said softly, "but it is not magic. It needs us, our courage, our will. Raj nodded, understanding the truth. The Armada is strong, but humanity fights with heart. The secret weapon had awakened. Ancient and powerful, yet it was nothing without humans to guide it. The Armada would not bow. But now Earth had a chance to strike back, to resist, to fight, and to show the galaxy that humanity could not be crushed easily. And so, the stage was set for the next battle. A fight that would test every skill, every mind, and every heart. Humanity was no longer waiting, they were ready to act. The secret weapon was the spark, but courage would be the fire. Humanity strikes back. The morning sky burned with the glow of distant fires. Alien ships moved across the horizon like shadows, massive and unyielding. Captain Yarick Vale and his squadron prepared for the most dangerous mission of their lives. Every pilot knew that the survival of Earth rested on their shoulders. Dr. Lena Hart's secret weapon hummed with energy. Its power ready to be unleashed, scientists monitored every system, sending commands to the device with careful precision. It was more than a machine, it was humanity's hope. And now it was time to see if hope could turn into victory. The first wave of human fighters launched from Earth's orbit. Small ships darting like sparks against the dark backdrop of the Armada. Alien sensors detected them immediately, beams of light slicing through space. Explosions rocked the void as ships clashed, but human pilots weaved, dodged. And struck with courage and cunning, Captain Vale led the charge.
Weaving between colossal alien vessels, firing energy cannons and missiles.
His team covering each other. Keep moving. Keep fighting. He shouted, voices crackling through the radio. Every strike mattered, every maneuver could mean life or death. Yet humanity refused to retreat. Meanwhile, Dr. Hart activated the secret weapon fully. A wave of energy shot across the battlefield, invisible but powerful. It disrupted alien shields, slowed their attacks, and caused confusion among their ranks. Pilots cheered, realizing that for the first time, the Armada was vulnerable on Earth. Civilians watched in awe and fear. Cities lit up with emergency broadcasts. But also with hope, people whispered stories of bravery, of pilots daring the impossible, of soldiers standing tall against the darkness. Humanity was united, and that unity made them strong. The Armada responded, sending a second, larger wave. Ships the size of mountains descended, firing beams that carved the night. Captain Vale's squadron fought desperately. Some ships were lost and lives were sacrificed. But the secret weapon kept turning the tide, giving humanity a fighting chance. Dr. Hart noticed something strange in the signals from the alien fleet. The ships were coordinated like a single organism, but the weapon caused fractures in their formation. It's working, she whispered. We can break them if we stay focused, Raj nodded, determination shining in his eyes. Then we fight with everything we have. Explosions lit the void like fireworks. Energy beams collided, and ships spun out of control. Captain Vale executed a daring maneuver, diving between two massive vessels to strike at a weak point. His heart pounded, but fear did not stop him. Humanity's courage was stronger than the Armada's firepower. As the battle raged, Earth's hidden fleets joined in, attacking from unexpected angles, coordinating with pilots in orbit. The humans worked as one, combining strategy, courage, and the power of the secret weapon. Slowly, piece by piece, the Armada's hull began to falter, and then, above the battlefield, a massive alien ship exploded, a beacon of hope for humanity. Cheers erupted in control rooms and on streets. But Captain Vale knew the fight was not over. More waves were coming. The Armada was still vast, yet now, humans had proven they could strike back. They had shown that courage, unity, and heart could challenge even the mightiest foe. Dr. Hart looked at the screens, a smile forming. "This is only the beginning," she said. "But humanity is no longer afraid." Raj nodded, eyes shining. "We are ready to fight to the end." And in the darkness of space, amidst the smoke and fire, Earth's defiance blazed like a star. The first victory had been won. But the war was far from over. Humanity had struck back. They had turned fear into courage, despair into action. And the galaxy was beginning to take notice. The final stand, the sky above Earth, was a battlefield, stars burning like fire in the distance. The galactic overlord's fleet, though damaged, had regrouped, and their largest warships moved with deadly precision. Captain Nirek Vale stood on the bridge of the Aurora, eyes fixed on the horizon. Every pilot and soldier knew this was the moment that would decide humanity's fate. Dr. Lena Hart monitored the secret weapon. Its energy levels peaking, the machine pulsed like a living heart, ready to release everything it had stored for the ultimate strike. "This is it," she whispered, voice trembling. "Either we win now, or everything is lost." The Armada advanced, beams of energy cutting across the sky. Ships collided, twisted, and exploded, yet human forces held their ground, striking with clever tactics, courage, and determination. Pilots risked everything, weaving through enemy fire, taking impossible shots and never giving in. Captain Vale led a daring assault on the flagship of the Overlords, a massive vessel that seemed to absorb all light around it. His squadron dove past shields and barriers, dodging energy blasts. Every move was precise. Every second counted. Humanity's fate balanced on a knife's edge. Dr. Hart activated the secret weapon fully, sending a surge of energy straight toward the flagship. The enormous alien ship shuddered. Systems failing one by one, the Overlords reacted, sending waves of smaller ships to intercept the human attackers, but Vale and his pilots pressed on. Fearless, unstoppable, united, on Earth. People watched the skies, hearts pounding. Children clutched their parents, soldiers stood ready, and civilians held hope like a shield. Humanity's courage was visible to the galaxy itself. The Overlords had expected submission, but instead, they faced resistance. And the fire of defiance burned brighter than any weapon. Inside the flagship, the alien commander realized their mistake. Their fleet was faltering, energy systems collapsing under the combined might of humans and the secret weapon. Captain Vale found the weak point and fired the final strike. The massive ship exploded in a brilliant flash, scattering pieces across the void. The remaining Armada ships, shocked and leaderless, began to retreat. Human fleets pursued cautiously, ensuring that no vessel escaped. Cheers erupted across the planet, voices of triumph and relief blending with tears and laughter. Humanity had survived, and the galaxy had witnessed their strength. Dr. Hart and Raj stood together, watching the battle from the observatory. "We did it," Raj said, disbelief in his voice. "We really did it," Lena smiled, but her eyes were thoughtful. "Yes. But we also learned that courage, unity, and hope are more powerful than any weapon." Captain Vale returned to Earth, greeted by thousands of cheering people. Pilots, soldiers, and civilians alike celebrated. But he knew the fight had changed humanity forever. They were no longer a small, fragile species on a blue planet. They were defenders, survivors, and a force the galaxy would never forget. The sky slowly cleared, stars returning to their quiet shimmer, but on every horizon, humans looked upward with new determination. The message was clear to any who would challenge them: Earth would not kneel. Humanity would rise, and so the final stand was won. Not by weapons alone, but by heart, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans could.